Hi, everybody. This is Rich Gibbons with SpeakInc, and today we are here with the one and only Jay Shetty. Jay, good to see you.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah. Jay is fresh off the platform in front of like 1,000 people. Now, I get to talk to fighter pilots and Olympic athletes, and their bio, their CV is pretty straightforward. You have a very complex background. How would you condense it? And so for the viewers out there, in say 15 seconds, who is Jay Shetty?
I've lived 3 different lives. I lived as a monk, I've lived as a management consultant, and now I work in media.
Yeah.
And so my life stems from monasteries to business boardrooms to media plots, if that makes any sense.
That you said it twice as well in half as many words, so I'm glad you did it. So I get to see a lot of speakers, and the speakers who are truly sort of masters of their craft on the platform, you have that 10,000 hours of Malcolm Gladwell, tradecraft. You have a lot of reps at the plate. And you look like you're so at home. There are a number of different things you did with the audience, and you had such calm confidence. You gave them calm confidence, and you really look at home.
Thank you.
The platform.
Thank you. Well, I remember I have a lot of friends who are phenomenal comedians, and I would always sit with them afterwards and learn more about their craft. And I think comedians are some of the most talented people on stage. And they'd always say that everything that looked spontaneous was just rehearsed a million times.
Right.
And I think we live in a world today where it's all about being authentic, which I think is so valuable. But I think we don't recognize the value of practice in being your most authentic self.
Yeah, right.
Because people think authentic means easy and spontaneous and natural.
Right. But there's a lot of practice.
There's a lot of practice. And sometimes what's beautiful is actually you'll say something authentic and spontaneous, and then you'll rehearse it and make it even better for the next time.
Right.
And so I think to me, there is no substitute for getting your reps in. Yeah. There is no substitute for practice.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's counter to having authenticity and spontaneity.
Right.
If anything, and this was a statement said to me by Kobe Bryant, he said that spontaneity came from structure, that he was able to do phenomenal things on the court because when he was practicing, he was able to set up discipline and structure. So to me, the more discipline you have, the more practice you have, the more play you can have.
Right, right. Well, it's very interesting to hear you talk about having intersection with friends that were comedians, because there were certain parts, the timing, the way you phrased it, you left a little bit of a pause, and then you hit them. It's like there's a lot of comedic timing in that you clearly
sometimes it goes wrong.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I am not a comedian by any means, but I believe that whenever I'm watching a presentation, I want to feel every emotion. I want to think, I want to laugh,
right.
I want to cry, I want to reflect.
Right.
And so when I'm sharing or guiding a session, my goal is to try and help you have all of the emotions, because I think that's when something becomes memorable. If you think about your favorite memories, it had this beautiful moment. Like a good wedding is a good example. It's like you laugh, you cry, you sing, you dance, you feel, and I think I want to give people that experience. And as someone who doesn't know how to sing or can't dance for you, this is my goal.
Yeah, you're hitting a lot of different sites on the brain. Yeah. So we got to get Jay into an executive summit here in a couple of minutes, but there's one question I want to ask you. Jay talks a lot about the fact that Homo sapien is a mammal with a lot of vestigial instinct and neuroscience and wiring, but we're interacting the technology, and we're interacting in a world of modernity, and we have to reconcile those two. And you're looking at Netflix at 11:45 p.m. and maybe that's not the highest and best use of your time. But here's my question. I heard somebody talk about sort of Moore's law and extrapolating Moore's law. And I tend to be a bit of a caveman, and my kids are making fun of me all the time that, there's that Arthur C. Clarke quote about any sufficiently sophisticated technology is indistinguishable from magic. And a lot of what I see AI do now, I look at it and I think, that's magic. And of course, it's not magic, it's just technology, right? So this guy I was talking to was extrapolating Moore's law out. And at this year, and I'm not gonna get the years right, but in this year, the semiconductor will have the power of the human mind. And I'm so glad you're shaking your head. So in 15 years, it'll have the power of all humankind. And I think to myself, well, if the 4 things that you talked about the complex problem solving skills and creativity and think like a child and all of these abstract talents that our minds have that a semiconductor does not, it makes me wonder, if I'm mollified by technology now, what's the world going to look like in 10 years when things that I thought were totally impossible? Because a lot of what you were talking about was a computer cannot replicate these things.
Yeah.
And you as a human need to optimize around that. I'll stop talking.
No, absolutely. You're spot on. I love what you're saying. I couldn't agree with you more. I think the truth is what you just said is we can't even fathom what is possible and what's going to happen.
Right.
And therefore, all we can do, like I said, this is probably my favorite thought around this time for me, where people often ask me, will AI ever have a soul? Because to me, that's the greatest asset that we all have, is that we have consciousness, we have spirit, we have soul. And I don't know if AI will ever have soul, but I just hope that all of us using and building AI have a soul.
Right.
And to me, that's what we can hold on to the most, this intention, this pure consciousness, this spirit of wanting to do good in the world, because then whatever we create will have that within it.
Right.
It's almost like the Frankenstein of idea of the machine becomes us.
Right.
And so AI is only going to become more and more a reflection of us.
Yeah.
So the more and more purification we do,
right.
the more and more pure AI will be, and it will be
more potent.
More potent, yes,
right.
absolutely.
It's going to be a more potent version of humankind.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, listen, I could talk to you for hours. Jay probably doesn't want to, but we got to get you into this executive summit. It was thought-provoking. It was engaging. It was fun. It was a phenomenal program.
Thank you.
And you are a master of your craft.
You're very kind. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Nice to meet you all.
See you on the next one.
Yeah.